Like clothes and cars, building styles change. What was once considered fashionable becomes dated. It's challenging to look at a structure from a generation ago and see its future value. Fortunately, we have architectural historians like Terry Lakeen at Peerless Rockville who are identifying and studying the postmodern structures around town.
The general definition is a building that's less than 50 years old. That's been sort of the working definition. And these are buildings that have reached sort of an awkward middle age. They're too young to be considered venerable or historic, but they're too old to be considered daring or innovative or architecturally interesting. They're considered dated.
Buildings constructed in the 1950s and 60s are considered mid-century modern. They have their own unique style.
Modern buildings tend to be look relatively simple, although they are incredibly complex in reality. The beauty of the materials is allowed to be expressed in a modern building. Many modernist buildings are flat-roofed, and they have open, versatile interior plans. This is an architecture that derives its form from the functions for which the building is designed.
Montgomery County experienced significant expansion during that era. As a result, there are lots of examples.
St. Mary's Church on Beers Mill Road is a fine example of the modernist architecture of mid-century. Institutional buildings, there were a number of public libraries built during this period, one in Aspen Hill, others around the county. The Davis Library on Democracy Boulevard, I think, is one. The county office buildings that many of us have gone to at one time or another, Rockville City Hall, and of course commercial office buildings, shopping centers, strip malls, car dealerships. Evidence of this period is all over the region.
It's not uncommon for a generation to undervalue structures from the one before. The red brick courthouse, where Peerless Rockville is headquartered, is considered a landmark now, but that wasn't always the case.
In the 1960s, there was considerable pressure to tear it down and rebuild a brand new modernist courthouse. And fortunately, the American Institute of Architects and the Sentinel newspapers and other people advocated for the preservation of this building, and it's still here today.
With its recent past initiative, Peerless Rockville wants future generations to be able to appreciate this county's mid-century modern aesthetic.
We certainly don't advocate saving every building. That would be completely unrealistic. What we do advocate is to study and document what we have. There's an estimated 70% of what we see around us has been built since the post-war era. So these are buildings that need documentation and study, but also sometimes advocacy to help keep people redefining what the past really is. That something historic can happen today or yesterday and not simply 100 years ago.